Is there some new magic waiting for us at Pixie Hollow? Has Disney slipped up more at the Haunted Mansion gift shop? Plus, we got updates on closures at the Disneyland Railroad, Monorail, and the Mark Twain. But first, let's talk about that Pixie Hollow thing. This really has my curiosity. And perhaps I want to talk about this because I want to find a reason to come back to Pixie Hollow and shoot this beautiful little lagoon here. Pixie Hollow has gone through a months-long renovation. Everything has been freshened up and cleaned up, and it looks really great. I can't wait to see guests in this space again, enjoying the kinetics that are happening here at Pixie Hollow with the water fountains and all that, and the updated lagoon. The meet and greet is still closed. They took the walls down. Guests can walk through here, but the meet and greet is still closed. We're waiting for that to happen. And as I was walking by the giant leaves of grass, it gave me pause. I started to wonder, what is it about the meet and greet part that is causing the extended delay, which is what we're having? I had a thought. Considering that they're still working on the actual meet and greet portion, which I didn't know was on the table. They're still working on the actual meet and that's what's been causing all the delays. It wasn't any of this out here. It wasn't the lagoon. It wasn't the water. It was the meet and greet that's causing the delay. What if they're finally going to install for guests, implement that Tinkerbell meet and greet that they were testing, where you could meet her inside one of those little lanterns like you have over there at Peter Pan? It's in the queue. What if you were able to meet, gosh, I don't even know if I have video of that. It's a projected image of a tiny Tinkerbell inside a lantern, but she can see you and hear you. And you can communicate with her as if it were a meet and greet, but she's not, full-size Pixie. She's the tiny little Tinkerbell. What if they're installing that? I can't see in there. I tried looking. I can't see nothing. But that would be cool if they finally did that. That was years ago when they tested that, years ago. Maybe it's ready. By the way, more bad news on Pixie Hollow in terms of its return. We'll get to that at the end of the show. Let's go to Big Thunder next, where my mood improves tremendously. As part of we were doing a lightning lane test for the acoustic channel and for our Patreon viewers, and part of that was going through Big Thunder, and here we found the water's back on. Huzzah. Well, I guess huzzah doesn't work for Big Thunder, but I was very relieved. Last week I was upset that the water, they had brought it back and then they turned it off, and now it's back again. So I'm very, very happy again to see the water effect fully functioning in the Big Thunder queue. Not just the water, but the little buckets are moving too, which is great to see. The buckets are our story over at Adventureland Treehouse. It's been years since we've seen those buckets work here at Big Thunder. And I was very happy to see this. It makes everything more interesting at Big Thunder when that stuff is working. I tried to take a look to see just how far up this water feature goes, because the whole aqueduct system, runs to the other side of the queue there. And I couldn't figure out, though, I couldn't see if there was water running at the top. They perhaps don't need it over there, to the left of those tree limbs. That's part of the aqueduct system, but I don't know if there's water running up there or not. But anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm just stoked that it's back. Very happy for that return. But unfortunately, for some reason, they still have not brought back the waterfalls at that part of Big Thunder where the train makes that pass in front of guests. Let's take it back out to Toy Story parking lot, actually, real quick. We arrived here on this day. This is 2 days after Christmas to find the Toy Story lot absolutely jammed up. You never see the Toy Story lot. This is for those guests who are wondering if it's, busy after Christmas. Very much so, yes. You never see this at the Toy Story lot. And I just wanted to include that because it's such an outlier. It took me 45 minutes from the time that I got to bag check to Main Street. It took 45 minutes, which is unheard of at the Toy Story lot. But it's still, you think that's bad, it's still pretty good considering this is what you would find if you tried to walk it in from Harbor and to do bag check at the Harbor entrance. Thank goodness for the Toy Story lot. That bag check right there, probably an hour or more. I heard somebody say it took him 2 hours to get to DCA. I don't know what time that was, but that is just anxiety. That's no way to start a day. That is absolutely no way to start your Disneyland day. We did all that. I wanted to start there because I wanted to show you that they weren't testing on this morning
at the new gates at the main entrance. By the way, again, I have not seen any tests of the actual function of this gate. We mentioned that last week. They have not been testing the circular touchpad there, the touch point for your annual pass or your Magic Band. They're not testing the monitor there for your picture. So we have not yet seen a live test of the actual function of the main entrance gates. We're standing by. Let's talk about the Disneyland Railroad. Last week we mentioned that there was a planned closure. We weren't sure for how long, or we weren't sure why, but what we do know for sure this week is that the Disneyland Railroad is closing on January 13th. That's about 2 weeks from now. January 13th. It is an unknown duration at the moment, but we've heard something around 3 months. And it does sound like, I'm now hearing that there is reason to believe that this could be to finish the track replacement program that started, prior to the Halloween season that was down, what forced the train down for 3 months. They finished there's 4 sections. There's 4 stations, there's 4 sections. They completed 2 of those sections during the last closure, during that 3 months. Word is that they may be doing the 3rd section, and that they're actually going to skip the 4th section. The reason being, they just replaced the track, that 4th section, the stretch between the New Orleans Square station and Toontown, because they replaced that when they did the Galaxy's Edge Rivers of America remodel, and they changed the course of the train at that point. That was brand new track, and that was just, not very many years ago, 5, 6, 7 years ago. So they probably are not in a big hurry to replace that section. So they're going to do, the presumed section would be from the Tomorrowland station and the dinosaur diorama through to New Orleans Square. And then that's it. And then they'll be ready for the 70th anniversary, summer of 2025. And since it's a slow week these days, before anything starts happening at Avengers Campus, I will update you that the walls are still up at the Adventureland bathrooms, but I've heard that they are about ready to do something with that space. It's not going to be guest face. Well, it could be. There could be a themed element. Remember those emerald rocks that were there before? I don't even know if I have a picture of that, but I don't know if it's going to be anything like that, but something will be happening in the near future. I would expect these walls to be taken care of before the 70th begins on May 16th. Adventureland Treehouse, good news. The wheel is spinning and the buckets are lifting. They are moving again, just like at Big Thunder. It's so great. I don't know why this is like going to be an ongoing story for me, but it is. Oh, hey, we were talking about the Disneyland Railroad before. So I stopped by here. This is one of those ongoing projects we should update you on. Nothing happening here. This is still behind construction walls. Still can't see anything at all, what they're doing, what their plans are. My expectation is they won't be doing this. Well, actually, they could. They might include this. With the 3-month closure coming up, they might include it with that. Fixing that station there, you can see there's a scrim up where that building caught fire about a year ago. Or was it longer than that even? I can't remember. That building caught fire and they haven't done anything with it since. That scrim is covering the burned parts now. But they could be including that. That would be cool if they could include that in the upcoming January closure for the Disneyland Railroad. Next door, just checking in on Haunted Mansion to see how Standby's doing. This has been a very busy attraction. Haunted Mansion has been since its reopening, since they've been on standby. It's been very popular. On this morning, it's actually not, it's functioning. It's going. It's posted 55, but it could be that, but it has just been full all the time. You guys really got to plan ahead for Haunted Mansion. You got to know what you're doing. I wouldn't recommend going to Haunted Mansion casually, but earlier is better. I'll say that. Earlier is better than late, as is the case for most Disneyland attractions. Now, forgive me, but I'd like to take a quick break from this construction update to let you guys know about Getaway Today. You may already know that they are our preferred vacation planner, travel agent for our fans who are looking to book a trip to Disneyland or Walt Disney World or more. Universal Studios Hollywood, Universal Orlando, SeaWorld, Legoland, you name it. And I'd like to think that we know them very well. We've met many of them personally. And we know how kind they are and how really tremendously good they are at their jobs. And that's why I'm confident in referring our fans to Getaway, because I am confident that you will be treated just as well as we have. If you're planning a trip to a Disney park or Universal or anything else of that nature, if you're planning a trip soon, use the link in our description so that they know that we sent you and so that we know that you were sent to them through one of our YouTube videos. And in so doing, you can be confident that you're going to be getting some of the best possible service from people who know everything there is to know about planning a trip to the Disney parks. Thank you for that. Let's get back to the show. Of course, next door is the Haunted Mansion gift shop. Since last week's update, they opened it, and you can now, guests are able to go shopping in there. There's nothing updated to the exteriors, nothing new. The same planter, same horse. What do you got? You can hook up the horses. The same aging on the wood. It looks aged, but still new. It still looks new. And you can now go in. There's some little Raleigh crump for you, but that's a sign that was out front before. But yeah, the gift shop is open. Let's take a look around and see if we can observe it. It looks nice, in my opinion. I like the interiors. I think it's well themed. There were some folks who wanted it to be a little bit more Haunted Mansion themed, to which I would say this is not a Haunted Mansion. This is Leota's. It should be a Leota's theme, and it should look a little bit more like it's in a bayou type arrangement or just something. It's not supposed to look like the Haunted Mansion. This is Leota's gift shop. Leota doesn't live in the mansion. She's not a resident of the mansion. Her office, her place of business is not inside the mansion. I've been advised that this crystal ball is attraction used from back in the day. That used to be an actual crystal ball used in the attraction. And I've also been advised that the lamp that's hanging above it is also seance room used back in the day. It's been in storage. It's been archived for many years, but they brought it out. Okay, so outside it doesn't look particularly aged, but inside it does. That wood does have a definite been here a while look. This is all affected though. This is not actual, old wood. It's actually steel. The interiors are steel. But they did a good job of that. And this kind of reminded me of the famous observation that Walt made, because they wanted to make the mansion originally look run down and beaten. And Walt had said, I want the outside to be nice. We'll make the outside nice because I want it to look good for guests. We'll let the ghosts take care of the inside and have that look old and scary. So you kind of get, I guess this is sort of I'm doing a little mental gymnastics to sort of make sense of why the outside looks the way it does versus the inside. Take that for what you will. I'm not trying to defend it. I personally don't like the way the outside looks at all. I'm not a fan of the barn exteriors at all, but I do like the interiors. It's nice. It's fun. There are a lot of calls to the mansion though. You can see there's the harpsichord up there. Always look up when you're in a gift shop, and you can see other theming elements. This is the nightmare side. Two serpents, I guess, two snakes facing off against one another. And then next door to that, are those? I got to look at those books. I didn't get a good look at those books. I want to check those out. There's others we can see. And then here's a reference to the demon clock just prior to the clock you see just prior to entering the seance room. There's the horn. All the musical instruments you hear in the seance room, they're all represented. You can actually hear them playing while you're in the gift shop. There's music playing, and the drums and the horns are featured. There's everybody's favorite feature of this. Madame Leota, a portrait of the host herself, and that is Leota Toombs, the Imagineer, who is used as the face of Madame Leota. That portrait is of an actual Imagineer, Leota Toombs, whose daughter, for those of you who may not know, her daughter is Kim Irvine. Kim Irvine is now an Imagineer. Kim Irvine is the Imagineer who led this project, this Madame Leota gift shop project. Kind of a full circle moment, kind of neat when you think about it. There's the drum set, and then there's lots of themed elements that you can find in the gift shop that are fun to observe and look at and try to see if you can't, explain, I guess. Tambourine, I don't like that right there. I don't know what that imagery is there. That's a palm reading, obviously, some sort of representation of that. This is where people have gotten sort of, okay. I have a hard time with this as well. That's an image of the bride with the red border around it. There she is. That's the bride. It's a very creepy, ominous image that they have decided to add into Madame Leota's gift shop, which I do not question at all, the desire to make reference to the bride. Internet sleuths, though, spotted that immediately and recognized that as AI art. They even found it. I don't have a link. Check that. I do have a link. Here it is on Redbubble. You can buy that print for $22. I mean, it literally is exactly that. There's no doubt about it, what it is. And so here's the thing. Disney has been, it has been observed now for the past year or so that Disney has been routinely buying their decorative elements, decor, for many places. For Tiana's Palace, for the Haunted Mansion queue, the cat, for example, is something you can buy at the Home store, I think. The gift shop, the Briar Patch gift shop, and now we're seeing this Redbubble AI art. Disney's been buying stuff off the shelf from, at home store, online stores. Most of that is, I guess we can kind of forgive that. I don't expect Disney to handcraft every single decor element that they put in the park. I don't expect there to be artisans, being used for all of that. It doesn't bother me too much. But the AI thing, I think I have to join the chorus of Disney buying something for $22 off the shelf, that it's AI art. It is being, or I should say, at least that's what's being reported as. People are reporting it as being AI art. I don't think it says that, or it says as much on the Redbubble listing. The issue here is that Disney has, hundreds of artists that they could call upon they could just ask somebody on staff, hey, would you draw us some fun bride art for the Haunted Mansion gift shop? I think that would be neat. They could do that all day. They have access to a myriad of artists who can do that. That's their job, is to create art. Create, by the way, not use AI, assuming again, what's more, that this is AI. Now, this goes towards the issue that I think that we're having with this gift shop, is that's the exact problem, is that Disney has circumvented going through Imagineering on this project in some ways. I mentioned Kim Irvine, but a lot of this has just been, the merchandising team going out and buying stuff and putting it. For example, there's another one right next to the right of that image is another object. It's a bust of a bride, behind a veil, right next to the tambourine, available for purchase on Amazon Prime. Now, this one I think is actually probably less offensive, I suppose, than the AR, but it's not a big deal, I suppose. Again, I don't expect them to handcraft every single one of these, because that could get prohibitively expensive. But it just goes towards that conversation, like how much effort and sincere effort are they putting towards this? I don't know. It's the debatable question. I just wish they would use their artists more, because that's what Disney is. Their history. That's what they are. Disney is a their bones are in animation. Their bones are in art and being artists. That's supposed to be what they do better than anybody, and we're shopping on Amazon Prime. So there's that. But having said all that, I do like the way the gift shop looks. I like it. It doesn't bother me that they're using these artifacts. I don't know that we would even have paid that much attention to it or noticed 10 years ago. But I hope that Disney is aware that today internet sleuths are undefeated. If they care, then maybe they might put more thought into it. But they're not a single thing is going to miss the internet. The internet today is going to notice, observe, and call out every sort of indiscretion that they can find anywhere in anything that Disney creates. They will find it. So it's just a question of whether or not it matters to Disney. And we'll see. We'll see if anything changes. We'll see if that AI art stays up there, or if they do something about the bust or anything else like that. Which, by the way, I'm not even done touring this, because there was some other things I want to observe that I did enjoy. For example, this cat in a chair that very much looks like a Doom buggy. I don't know if that's an original creation or not, but it looks cool up there. I'm not going to lie. I like the way it looks. If you show me that you can buy that on the internet, that's not going to bother me. I like the little couch up there and the rafters, and just in general, the way the things look. Here's some more of the books. I was talking about the books that I was noticing before. I was looking for anything on the bindings, covers, names, artists on some of these books to see if there's any reference. And there are a few. Most of them are blank. But if you keep looking, there's a book called Dreams by Olive Schreiner. And it's just like it sounds. It's an examination of, you could buy this book on Amazon as well. I don't know if it's going to look just like that one, whereas the one we found on the queue, the book looked exactly like the one that was found in the queue. This one have many different covers, but I'm not sure if you can get the cover that looks just like that one. And there's also the one next to it, The Magus, which there's two books called The Magus. There's one by John Fowles, which I don't believe that to be the one that we're looking at. That's more of a fiction. There's Magus by Francis Barrett, which is a complete grimoire of ceremonial magic and occult philosophy, which sounds more like what you might find at Madame Leota's gift shop. Take that for what you will. These are things that I've observed. But there's lots of stuff. Oh, there's another one. Cam Hanich. I don't know what that is. Look it up. But it's real. A few other odds and ends as we complete our tour. Spiritual oils. This is a reference to a Ouija board, which is interesting. And then right next door, a sign on the door for palmistry readings and fortunes revealed, the primary business of Madame Leota. So those are our thoughts on the Haunted Mansion gift shop, Madame Leota's. It's fine. The insides are fine. I'm good with the insides, except for that AI thing, if it is in fact AI. The outside, I'm not a fan of. I don't like the outside. I don't like the exterior very much. I wish they could have done a better job of that, but it is what it is. We'll probably get over it. We'll go next door to Tiana's Bayou Adventure just to check in on how things are going there, as we did for the Haunted Mansion. There are logs on the track in the water, and it's posted at this point 35 minutes. A 35-minute wait time right now for Tiana's, which isn't bad. This was in the middle of the afternoon. I want to say right around noon or so. So that's not bad. That's a pretty good, clip that they're at. My assumption is that they didn't close at all at this point. There was no breakdown. So it's all about timing when you go to Tiana's. It's all about timing. Are you getting there? Has the ride broke down before you've arrived? And since once more we're in a point in these shows where there's not a lot to talk about, we're going to get on this raft to Tom Sawyer Island just to check in and see what the shape of the island is. And they are in fact still closed. You still cannot get out there. It's going to stay that way for a while. This is 100% because they don't want to pay cast members to keep it up, to be out there to watch guests or to do any kind of maintenance on the front part. That's exactly that. It's just a money thing. Dead Man's Grotto is open. The features do appear to be working. Davy Jones' heart is still beating in the chest. Those two pirates are still guarding the treasure. Stick a hand in there and the magic treasure will disappear. That's still working. Imprisoned pirate still will not stop talking. This guy never shuts up. So Dead Man's Grotto is working okay. But here's the backside on the other sides. Yeah, there's no access here either. Such a shame. A full third of this island is unavailable to guests. And then the 2/3 that are operating aren't operating at full potential. Still no relief for the bilge pump. Sorry, it's not working today. But at least the water, well, I guess it's getting greener now. It's getting a little more stagnant than it was. They need to clean that water up. And there's still no function for the treasure lift. Also not working today. But at least the barrel bridge is working. The pontoon bridge, as it were. Guests could still travel across that. So Tom Sawyer Island operating at about, let's call it 40% of its total possible function. But, the reason why I like to go on the island is for views. Views like this, where you got Davy Crockett Canoe, Mark Twain, and the Disneyland Railroad all coming into frame at the same time. Magical moment, to be sure. While we're here, let's talk about the Mark Twain. That is going down for closure. The Mark Twain is scheduled to close on January 6th. It'll be down for about 5 days and reopen on January 11th. Speaking of ride closures, the monorail will also be getting added to the refurb list on January 6th, the same day as the Mark Twain. They will be closing the monorail for an indeterminate amount of time, which suggests that it'll be at least a month, because the calendar right now is going forward as far as February 8th. So we know it'll be at least that long at the moment. What they're doing, I could not say. I don't know if this is to do anything. Sometimes they have to close the monorail because they're doing something else that is in the way of the monorail track, i.e. Parkside Market or something like that. So I don't know. That's a month. That's a long time. Parkside Market is darn near done. As a matter of fact, we're going to arrive here on this monorail to check that out as we speak. Getting a look first, though, behind Parkside to see if there's anything vertical for Earl's Sandwich back there, but there is nothing going on back there. Let's get on the ground where we see, that's it. Those fences that you see right there, that's all that's up now. They've taken down all the fences around the Parkside Market. There's the backside of Sip and Saunter. You can walk right up to that pickup window for Sip and Saunter. But those green fences are the only ones up. Here it is from the front. I mean, it looks about how you would have expected. There's the order window for Sip and Saunter. I thought, I didn't know this was going to be strictly takeout. I wonder if you can go inside and sit down and eat at Sip and Saunter. I don't know. The windows are still covered, so we can't see what it looks like inside through the glass, unfortunately. So that's as good as we can do. I'm trying. I'm trying. But otherwise, yeah, all the, Scrim and scaffold are down, no walls up. We're days away. It is imminent. Imminent. Oh, here's an update. ESPN Zone. The permits have been finalized for the updates that are happening. They're going to spend $3.5 million updating the interiors of the ESPN Zone. Hopefully the exteriors as well, because again, that looks terrible out there. But they are going to split that ESPN Zone into 3 units. 1 unit upstairs, then 2 units below. I think, by the sounds of it, it is going to be something for guests. This will be for guests, not... Because right now, only it's being used as like a rehearsal space, a costume, for cast members to change, to get into costume, or other... I think it was also Imagination Campus situation back there. There's a lot of different... Because it's a huge building. But my best guess right now is that it will be for guests. They are going... But they haven't announced anything yet. But it sounds like they're going to be announcing something soon or soon-ish. Nothing new to report at Tortilla Joe's. No small, minor things. We've been noticing little itty-bitty updates, but nothing major. Tortilla Joe's still looks like it did last week. Wonderful World Sweets, scheduled to open. All we know right now is winter, which we have arrived. Winter is here. So, but I think that this is imminent also. This should be opening up anytime soon. Hopefully at the same time as Parkside Market. We'll go to DCA. No trip to the Pixar Pal around this week. We're going to hold off until January 12th when they close the T-Mobile parking lot. I did find this cherry picker, though. I don't know how exciting that is. There's a cherry picker observed over the walls at Luigi's, but we'll hold off on that until January. And then no update from Little Mermaid. The walls are still up where they're putting in the ramp, which I suspect is an ADA ramp. And that's it. I believe that's everything, you guys. So with that, let's summarize real quick the refurb calendar, starting with the Disneyland Story, presenting great moments with Mr. Lincoln. Closed since April and will likely remain that way until May of 2025 for the beginning of the 70th anniversary and for the introduction of the Walt Disney animatronic part of the show. We mentioned Pixie Hollow. Still, the meet and greet is closed. Oh, yeah, I mentioned the bad news. Last week, we mentioned that it was scheduled to reopen on January 19th. This week, there is no date. So once again, they have delayed for at least another 3 weeks. They have delayed the meet and greet portion of Tinkerbell and all that until who knows when, which tells me there's some complexity happening in that space, which suggests that this is beyond just a cosmetic update, that there's something more complicated than refreshing the how it looks. I'm hoping it's because they're trying to install that new meet and greet for guests, the one where you can meet her in her life size. That would be really, really cool. The Monorail is closing on January 6th, as is the Mark Twain. Monorail, we do not have a return time, but the Mark Twain will reopen on January 11th. The Jolly Holiday Bakery is closing on January 7th. No return time for that. No return or reopening date as of yet. So at least a month. Back of house stuff is being done at Jolly Holiday. Haunted Mansion closing on January 7th through January 17th to reopen as classic traditional Haunted Mansion. That's very exciting. Disneyland Railroad closing on January 13th. No return date, although we expect it to be about 3 months. It's a Small World closing on January 21st. There's no reopening date, although again, I'm expecting this to last through spring. It could be that they just wind up reopening on May 16th as well for the beginning of the 70th. And then a DCA Grizzly River Run is closing on January 6th for an indeterminate amount of time. No idea what they're doing at Grizzly River Run. It could be it can't be just Christmas. It doesn't take very long to take down Christmas. And this extension is going for more, or closure is going for more than a month, according to the refurb calendar. And then finally, Inside Out, Emotional Whirlwind closing also on January 6th. It'll be down for almost 3 weeks, reopening on January 24th. That is our construction update for this week at the Disneyland Resort. I do hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please do consider joining our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/freshbaked. Then follow us on Instagram at _freshbaked, on Twitter at freshbakedisney, that's fresh with no E, and on TikTok at freshbakedisney. Otherwise, thanks for watching, everybody. We love you. Be safe out there. Be kind to one another. Fresh baked.